You wander down a street in a not too demolished looking part of town, but you don't really take much of it in. You're not looking where you're going. This is an elementary mistake, especially on a planet where everything that exists seems to be on the spectrum of engineered specifically for murder to could be a weapon in a pinch. But you've got a lot on your mind. And now, as the car, these guys probably have some ridiculous word for it, but you haven't learned it. You hadn't noticed slams into you, sending you flipping head over feet. You add a few new concerns to your list: your bones and organs. The sound of the driver yelling The sound of the driver yelling, "Watch where you're going, lumsquirt chugger!" fades as they drive away, and you assess your situation. You stretch each limb in turn, which, you gotta say, doesn't feel great. You've landed in a bush which is covered in sharp spines. Your arms and legs all still work, though, and when you do an experimental cough, no blood comes out. Pretty lucky, you'd think. You may have redefined what luck means by this point, but you'll take what you can get. You don't figure that luck will extend to the driver turning around to help you out of this bush. Your gazes meeting and sparking an immediate and intense connection that leads to a beautiful lifelong friendship, but you let yourself hope. After a few minutes of struggle, the answer to your comradely daydreams comes into focus above you, a figure outlined by the spiny leaves of your plant prison and the glow of the moons. The troll you see isn't the driver of the car, but you don't care. Your heart is beating wildly with your continued lucky streak. Hello. Seem to have fallen victim to a collide and scamper with that scuttlebuggy back there. Have you contacted your personal legislacerator? If not, I'd like to offer my services. My name is Tagora Gorjek, but please, call me Gorgor. I'm here for you, for a nominal fee, of course. Oh, this thing fucking slaps. He pulls a business card from his sleek teal vest and offers it to you with a precise flick of the wrist. His claw beds are perfect. You try again to sit up, buoyed by this offer for assistance. He's some type of doctor, maybe? Or lawyer? Doesn't matter, really, because he said he was here for you. Those words go right ahead and burn themselves onto the softest chamber of your heart. You start telling him your plight thus far, reaching up through the brambles toward this beacon of hope. This guy seems trustworthy, and that's not just your lack of options talking, you swear. As you shift, the moonlight shines on you. He steps back briefly, dropping the card. The one eye that's not covered by a soup of product-infused hair opens wide. He recovers, smoothing his hands down his chest and straightening up, and clearing his throat as you continue to explain. Yo, what? Oh yes, an alien, I knew that. I've done work with aliens before, so your situation shouldn't be an issue at all. Everyone deserves an equal opportunity to be represented by me. In fact, we may be able to use this in our favor for a larger cash settlement. It all depends on our angle. Here, try moving your chug column. You aren't sure why this is necessary, but you wiggle your torso, hoping that's right. You've never wanted anything more in your meager existence than to follow this specific directive perfectly. No, not that. You add a little hip jiggle. Not so much that he might think it's a come-on, but enough to say, hey, I'm friendly and I know what the fuck I'm doing. No, yo, the thing that holds up your think pan. Work with me. You continue what you hope is a part of a troll friendship ritual, shimmying various parts of your anatomy deeper into the bush until you get to your neck, and he clasps his hands together. There we go. That one hurt, didn't it? Definitely a case of column snap, which can get us a decently hefty restitution. Your neck feels fine, or it doesn't hurt any more than the rest of you, but you give him what you hope is a convincingly painful nod of agreement. Of course, you will need to front the initial legislaceration costs. We may also have to injure you further to ensure our case is convincing, but you've got to break a few cluckbeast embryos to make a grublet, as you well know. Yes, I think we may make a mutually beneficial team if you're willing to do what it takes to bring about the justice you deserve. So, what do you say? How would you like to help me help you? He's talking really fast, and you're not exactly sure what to think about your lack of funds or the idea of breaking any more bones, but that smile is sharp and shiny and pointed right at you. You want more of it. Dun, 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 dun. tell him about the heaps of money you definitely have. You mention how incredibly loaded you are and how core to your sense of value it is to pay well for good work. That's what we call good business. Now, get up out of that prickle fond and let's get you presentable. He watches you flail a few times before he sighs, unbuttons his sleeves, and rolls them up to his elbows. Each fold is crisp and even. It takes a while, but you are good at being patient. There's a 12% cost increase for instances of manual labor. It'll all be explained in your bill. It's itemized. I'm sure an alien of means such as yourself will be able to handle it. You take his hand, and he pulls you up and out of the bush. It's kind of a rough job. He's not as strong as he looks, you guess. He glares at you like he is daring you to say shit about it. And you are a quick learner. He cuts you off mid-thank you. My office isn't far from here. We can go there to get things started. And by things, I absolutely mean get you clean and sign a lot of vaguely worded yet stringently binding documents. He walks with a purpose. You shake off the flora stuck in your various body parts and do your best to catch up. From the outside, his office basically just seems like his hive. You've learned a thing or two during the shitstorm of a cultural exchange, though. You gotta play it cool when a potential friend invites you home. You never know what cages or monsters or methods of evisceration they might have laying around, and you want to prepare a nice chill look on your face for whatever carnage you're about to be confronted by. It doesn't work. Your face falls to bewildered hell when you walk inside because it's all chrome and glass and broad white walls in there. It's like he bought the fanciest looking crate and barrel display room he could find, down to the last useless minimalist accessory, and then never sat down in it. His Lucis, a ferret, is chilling on an enormous silver thing that's halfway between a throne and a play tower. Everything is clean and bright and at perfect right angles, and you don't see any weapons anywhere. It's fucking creepy. You ask him if he just moved in, because polite conversation seems like maybe the best thing you can do. In the absence of something specific to focus your fear on, you're just sort of a little afraid of everything. You're not paying me to learn my life story. Unless you'd like to. In that case, no. I've lived here most of my life. I'll go ahead and add that to your bill. You stare at one of the chairs. Should you sit in it? By all means, do not make yourself at home. Head straight to my ablution trap while I prepare our contract. You really want to connect with this guy, and you like how you just vibed there, where you were thinking about sitting your bedraggled ass in his fancy chair, and he could totally tell you were thinking it. But you don't want to be friends badly enough to walk straight into something that has the word trap right there in its name without at least pondering it for a second. You become savvier during all this. You are more than a little concerned about the trap part of the instructions you just received. But hey, at least the trap you know about is better than one you don't. And with everything else you can see so freaky pristine, he has to be hiding some evil somewhere. You wonder if it's a dungeon. A dungeon could be cool. The ferret bounds down off its pedestal and jerks its head for you to follow it. You do, because it seems like a regular thing to do, and Tagora is busy on his computer. You can't see it, but my face is hiding the cute little ferret. It leads you to a bathroom, which is just as fancy and clean as everything else you've seen. The Lucis chitters at you for a second, squirms its big noodle body around, and leaves, shutting the door behind it. You wait a second till it's probably gone before you test the handle. It's unlocked. Huh. You wonder what the point or, motive might be for leading you to this room until you turn and see yourself in the mirror. That is some haggard looking stuff right there, so fair. You're flying by the seat of your pants, but you guess maybe you're supposed to take a bath. If not, and he gets pissed and unleashes the ferret on you, at least you'll meet your maker nice and clean. You half expect some indiscernible goo or blood to come out of the faucet in the weird lumpy tub, but thankfully it's just water. Once you're in, you take a look at the truly inordinate amount of bath products you have at your fingertips. There are 3 shelves of little bottles and soaps and unidentifiable lathersome accessories by the tub alone. There's even more by the mirror. The labels are all gibberish, of course, but you sniff a few until you find something flowery and go to town. You take more time than you should in there, but you haven't experienced a moment of luxurious solitude in a bit. Full-time friendship searching can be difficult work. It's good to recharge. Once you're freshly scrubbed and dried, you slather yourself head to toe with some lotion you find in an iridescent vial. You hope he won't mind you using it. He wants you to be presentable, and this stuff is sparkly. You're starting to feel rejuvenated as hell. Ready to knock this friendship stuff right out of the park. You leave your dirty, torn-up old clothes on the floor, wrap yourself in one of the many satin bathrobes folded on a shelf, and head back out to find Tagora. He's standing in his foyer, waiting with the contract he typed up for you. When he sees you, his eyebrow ticks up. I see you went with the Rainbow Drinker Serum. Full body application. Bold choice. I mean, it's an incredibly rare and expensive product, and I do expect to be remunerated, but I won't lie. It works. Yeah, sure, that stuff. You don't want to let on that you don't know what it is, since he seems impressed. Instead, you give his ego a little stroke and tell him you haven't seen such a sumptuous array of self-care accoutrements in so long that you couldn't help yourself. Not everyone takes skincare as seriously as they should. I assumed you were taking forever in there because you'd gotten lost or didn't know how to use the ablution trap. I hadn't considered the possibility that you were just doing your regimen. Noted. You hold your arms out to admire the well-hydrated sheen you have going on. This time, you're not really even bullshitting. It just does actually look pretty good. Tagora seems like he's struggling. Keeps opening his mouth to say something, then changing his mind. He's clutching the documents in his hands like a flotation device. He looks down at them, then back at you. I typically only use that particular product to highlight my cheek blades. But there's no real reason you shouldn't apply it more liberally, especially if cost isn't an issue. That's a little drastic for my personal style, but there is a certain unorthodox glamour to it. The next bit looks like it hurts him a bit to get out. Would you like to step outside to see the full effect? You bet your ass he would. You're curious about what he means by effect, and this seems like more fun than signing stuff. He places the documents down on his desk like they're made of glass, not paper. He looks up at his Lucis, who just sort of tilts its head to the side. God, this slaps so... Oh, this is such a bob. You look away and give them privacy to do whatever eyeball communication is going on. After a bit, Tagora clears his throat and heads toward the door. You don't comment on the bluish flush in his cheeks. For all the shift in his demeanor, he still seems like he might kick you out on your ass if you tried to get too feelingsy with him. You start to glow as soon as you step back out into his dark front yard. Not in a light bulb kind of way, but in a subtle, ethereal luminescence. What is this stuff? Now that is a look. I mean, there's still the unfortunate issue of your hornlessness and overall appearance, and the fact that you're still wearing my ablution robe. But it's cutting edge, I'll give you that. You almost look like a real one. You don't know what that means, but you want to roll around eternally in the praise part. You ask if the look will help your case. Oh, right, your case, of course. He bites his lip and looks back through the window at the papers sitting on the desk where he left them. You hope that he still wants to represent you, or at least that he'd want to hang out even if he wasn't going to. You don't get a chance to prod, though, because right then someone rounds the corner on the sidewalk in front of his hive. Tagora's face immediately shudders into its usual simpering mask. There's an edge of panic around his eye, though. Huh. Oh, Gorjek. What have we here? It's a blue-themed troll, which, if you remember right, means he's a fancier guy than Tagora. He's grinning like Troll Christmas came early. You can feel Tagora vibrating out of his skin next to you. Who even is this guy? When he gets close to you, when he gets close enough to get a good look at you, he jumps and screeches, "What the bulge boiling fuck?" Tagora is frozen, the corner of his mouth pulled back to show his teeth. The new guy is ignoring him in favor of noticing that you're dressed in Tagora's monogrammed leisure wear, if his look of fascinated horror is anything to go by. You don't really know what makes you do it. You should wait for Tagora to get himself together and do the talking, but you're riding the high of him almost seeming like he was enjoying your company. Plus, nothing boosts confidence like looking like a beautiful spooky angel. So you toss your head, Put on your best fancy guy voice and say, "What? Never seen a real one before?" You're placing all your chips on this guy knowing something you don't. But when his eyes get huge and he starts stumbling over himself to back away down the sidewalk, you know it's paid off. Tagora blinks, then jumps right in, picking up directly where you left off. Surely someone as well informed as yourself knows a rainbow drinker when he sees one. The blue guy doesn't respond with anything more coherent than a string of yelps as he hightails it back the way he came. When he's gone, you turn to Tagora and ask him super casually what a rainbow drinker is. He stares at you in stunned silence. Are you telling me you didn't know? You nod. And that you ran with it anyway, exploiting the fear that you picked up on to turn the tide of a delicate encounter to your favor? You shrug. You guess so. You tell Tagora you hope his friend wasn't too freaked out. Friend? No, I hate that guy. There are simply times when being liked by your betters is helpful. Oh, technically, fearing me is just as good. Better, maybe. So you know. Thank you. Tagora's laugh is soft. It's not a sound you expected to hear. He's happy because of something you did. You can't help it. You start laughing too. That was a bit of a rush, wasn't it? It was almost fun. I certainly didn't see it coming anyway. I underestimated you. He gives you an appraising look, then takes a deep breath. You're so nervous all of a sudden. You feel unbalanced on the precipice of what he might be about to say. From one prevaricator to another, I will let you in on something. I haven't actually encountered an alien before. Oh, sweet relief. You tell him his act was airtight. And as long as everyone's doing the truth thing, you admit you lied a bit too. You aren't actually rich. Yes, that's clear now. You have the invaluable ability to fake it, though. That's potentially much better. Why don't we put your case on hold for the time being? You wouldn't have enjoyed the outcome of our legal system anyway. We can find an alternate means of you working off your debt. I think we may make a better team than I previously anticipated. With our wits combined, we can tackle bigger and better things than traffic injuries. He flexes his hand at his side, then in one swift and decisive movement, he extends it out to you. On his face is something close to an honest-to-God, real-ass smile. I've never actually formed a legitimate partnership of any sort before, but I believe this is how it's done. What do you say? And the glow in your heart shines brighter than any expensive and still kind of mysterious lotion. You take his hand in your firm, no-nonsense grasp of pure, inexorable joy and shake it. Friendship. Just sign here.